What's going on, guys? Flacco, back again here, Flux Performance. So today, it's pretty exciting. I am going to start now on Project Mater. I've got the hood off, so we're gonna start doing the Coyote swap on it. Got the motor back there. Also got all the Holley electronics for it as well. So right now what I'm doing is I am going to start. I got to pull the whole front clip off. Fenders, hood, front grille, all that stuff so I can expose it and make it a lot easier to pull this motor out and then start fitting the new motor in. There is going to be quite a bit of modifications, more than likely. It's not going to be a direct fit. I know that for sure. But the sooner I get to it, the sooner we'll start figuring out what all needs to be done. And hopefully in a couple of days, I can have the motor fitted in the truck, wherever it's going to go, whatever necessary modification needs to be done, and so on and so forth. So, like I said, I've got the motor, I've got all the electronics, and basically, I got to get my ass to work. So we're gonna yank this 350 that it's got in it. We'll yank it off. I know my boy Nico over at the shop who did all the patina stuff. He said he might want it, so probably gonna take it off and get it over to him, and we'll give it to him. He might use it for something. I won't, and if I don't, well then it's just gonna be in my way. And eventually what's going to happen is I'm going to probably just junk it, so I might as well give it to somebody that can actually use it. Well, the front clip is off. As you saw, man, that thing was a pain in the ass though. And even harder because it's real nose heavy, of course. And then I was here by myself. So it definitely was a pain in the ass to get it off though. But I got it out. So right now I'm gonna take loose all the bolts on the motor. I got the exhaust done, off. Drain the fluid. Unhook maybe 3 or 4 wires, and then we'll take this motor out. I mean, this thing, it's a complete dropout, so it should be pretty simple. Take the radiator off, take the motor, and then maybe we can mock up something later on today. Got the motor out, so I had to cut these big old flanges that it had for the other motor, and well, they were in the way, so I got to knock them down, got to grind it down. That way I can clean up all that area before I can actually start mocking the other motor. As you can see, that's where they were. Right there. So the motor seems like it's going to have to be scooted forward. Looks like 3 inches so that it can actually clear this, because Right now it's a bit behind, and I know for a fact that the heads being so wide are not gonna clear it. And of course, I'm not gonna cut this, so I'm gonna have to move it forward. It looks like there's plenty of room still up in the front. This is probably gonna be changed. Make a new one. That way I can put, which I'm planning on putting the factory radiator from a Mustang. That way everything fits good and the cooling system is all good. So, like I said, this more than likely is gonna go away. And once I get it in place, get some motor mounts fabricated on it, and then of course I'll proceed to whatever needs to be moved around. But hopefully the steering column clears. The brake pedal is going to be changed. I don't like the way that one is, so I'm gonna have to redo that. And of course, wherever the motor sits, I'll just scoot the transmission forward a little bit, which is no big deal. All taken apart. So in a bit, I'm probably going to hang the motor and just kind of present it. So we'll see how it looks. So, yeah, no, it's about that time. I'm going to go ahead and hook it up and mock it. I am going to pull the manifolds off just to give me some more room. Yeah. Just to kind of see where everything's going to land. And then try to figure out how I'm going to do some motor mounts for it. It had some solid mounts, which I don't want to do some solid mounts. So I'm going to try to get some rubber mounts on it. And then probably build something off the sides to the frame. You know, just kind of give it some room for the alternator and I guess all the water lines and stuff like that. So we'll see how it fits. Man, it's been a long day. A lot of work, a lot of cutting, a lot of measuring, but finally I've got the motor exactly where it's gonna be set at. So it's squared into the truck, centered in the truck, and it's got the correct angle going, you know, downhill to match the whole drivetrain. So it's a lot of work. Like I said, a bunch of cutting, grinding. I still need to weld a couple of small things, and of course make some motor mounts. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to put a motor plate, which it's probably going to be a lot easier if I do a motor plate rather than putting mounts, and it'll actually give me more room in the starter area. So I might just go ahead and do that. But in the meantime, this is how it's going to look in the truck. There you go. Exhaust fits. Of course, it's loose, but it fits. But that's the exact location where the motor's going to be sitting at. I've got plenty of room because the radiator goes actually in the front of that bar. That bar might be taken off. Now, like I said, I did have to scoot it forward just because the other side's actually a little tighter. But for the most part, that's where it's going to be. Old Mater and the Coyote. See, now the steering column also is going to have to be relocated, and of course all that contraption that they got going on for the brake pedal, which that was gonna get switched over and fixed anyway. Remote oil filter. Once I do the brake stuff, the exhaust manifold fits, no problem. It's got about maybe half an inch on the driver's side head and the firewall. That way I can plug in my my sensors in the back, and for the most part, it'll have plenty of room in the front for the radiator, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm excited. All right, guys, what's going on? We're back again here in the shop. New year, 2024. So let's go ahead and get down to business. We're back working, and gonna keep on going forward with Mater. But we're back again at it, and Project Mater, it's been going pretty good. The motor's in it, motor mount's in it. The brake pedal assembly has been moved back 9 inches. I'll show you in a bit, just because it was hitting the exhaust manifold. So I had to move the whole master cylinder, brake booster, everything back, remount it, redo the brake pedal, redo the lines, clean up some of the wiring, take off the old fuel line, have the motor set exactly where it goes. The front clip's kind of back on it, which I still gotta remove it, finish doing some other stuff, but show you guys, progress is going pretty good. The transmission is out. I have the bell housing for it, which is I'm gonna use the Turbo 350, and I got a bell housing that mates to a Coyote, and I also have the converter on its way from Circle D Converters. The guys over there hooked us up with one of their Coyote converters and what it likes and stuff like that. So we should be getting that pretty soon. So right now, today, I'm actually headed over to Pasadena, and I'm gonna take the transmission to Juan. He's going to go through it, upgrade it, and they're going to get the case cut so that we can install the bell housing. I got a JW bell housing, and like I said, it mates to a Turbo 350 or a TH400, whichever one of them two, and bolts, and it's got the bolt pattern, the where the starter goes and everything for a Coyote. So we're gonna go ahead and like I said, head on over there, drop it off, get it done so that we can have it back hopefully in a couple of days, and then we can put the transmission on, cross member, and all that fun stuff. So as you can see right there, that's where the motor sits. That is where the brake pedal assembly was before, so I had to move it back 9 inches. The opening right there in the front, that's where the brake pedal went before, so I had to make an opening there, and then of course now that's where the brake pedal goes. So it's going to come straight up, which is a lot better location than how it was before. And now we've got room here for our exhaust to come down, back, and so forth. Once the transmission's on it, it gives us a lot better room. You can see it's got a ton of clearance there, ton of clearance there. Up on top, of course, you can see the motor had to be moved 3.5 inches forward because of those little guys right there. They're real close by the firewall, and of course got all that room behind it. So transmission's still gonna sit in the same location. The cross member still works. I have to make a tab and actually move forward where the tranny sits on the cross member, but the cross member itself is going to go in the same location. It's got to be moved 3.5 inches forward. So this is all the airbag stuff. That exhaust is going to be going in the trash. Got some old Flowmasters, but for the most part, everything fits pretty good. The oil filter, That is going to be relocated just because it's real close to this. I don't like it. Um, that's gonna stay there. As you can see, it's got plenty of room. The radiator is gonna go in the front. So it's actually looking pretty good. The steering also has to be changed, but that's no big deal. Once everything's on it, tighten up, and then I'll build the steering shaft for it. But for the most part, it's coming along pretty good. Saw yesterday, went ahead and took everything off. That way I could get everything painted. Stripped it all down, took all the front suspension off, the upper control arms, lower control arms, airbags, steering components, basically just every single thing, I took it off. So I got everything painted, all the firewalls nicely painted. Everything's clean, everything's dry. So now what I gotta do is I gotta put all the front suspension back on, which I've already started. I gotta get the other side done, get it semi-aligned. That way it's less of a problem whenever I take it to the alignment shop. And so yeah, just basically get all that stuff done, put on, and then I gotta change the pump gears on the motor. The motor has already been mocked up, set up, the motor mounts, everything's done. And like I said, I just gotta change the pump gears on it. Then I can set the motor in there, wait for the transmission, put the tranny on, button it up, and then I can start all the wiring. And then of course, whatever accessories and stuff like that needs to be put on it. Radiator is gonna be off of a 14 Mustang, so it's gonna be a factory radiator. That way my top hoses, my bottom hoses, and all my reservoir tanks, everything fits. So front end, I still got to paint everything down low on the engine bay. That way it looks real nice whenever everything gets put back on. But so far, it's looking pretty good. So hopefully this month I get this thing running and maybe making some burnouts. So we'll see. So let's go ahead and put this thing together. Check it out. Also, guys, don't forget, you got some all new merchandise for Mater. All right, check it out, guys. And look at that. That is the back, and that is the front. Y'all make sure to go ahead and check out the store. Get your merchandise so we can get Mater put together and go do some burnouts at the end of this month. Look at that. Hell yeah.